Live from the Great North, we welcome race fans one and all back to Green Flag TV, where tonight we get set to go racing at Canada's home for motorsports. This is the Motorsports International Raceway, more commonly known to as the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Welcome to round number 9 of the Pro Kart Concepts Road Challenge Series on Green Flag TV. My name is Oliver, bringing you all of the coverage here tonight from start to finish of what should be a thrilling hour of racing action here tonight. And boy, oh boy, is the championship ever getting set to kick off. We don't have the updated standings just yet, of course, on our graphics, but we do have them available to at least read them out to you. And it's something to behold. Scott Kimbrough was set to enter this race in a position to just start the next 2 races to have his championship locked up. However, looking like Kimbrough might be a no-show, so we could very well see Justin Barrera reeling in that 21-point gap and see the LMP3 championship go right down to the final round. Justin Hall, very different story. He's got himself, we're talking almost 30, 45, almost 50 points back to the likes of Joe Evers. So it's going to be a very difficult ride if we're going to be seeing Joe Evers contending for that championship over in your GT4 pack. So there is a lot riding on today's race, and a lot of drivers are going to be looking to put the hammer down and see what they can make for us here in the way of entertainment here on this Monday night. Want to give a quick shout out to Pro Kart Concepts for being the title sponsor of season number 5. The Pro Kart Concepts Road Challenge Series. Are you a sim racing enthusiast looking to challenge your driving skills at another level? Are you ready to take the next step into real-life motorsports? Look no further than Pro Kart Concepts, the premier destination for karting in the Northeast. The racing with them isn't like your neighborhood's indoor track. The Wilson Circuit, located in the Pittsburgh International Race Complex near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, is a dedicated outdoor kart racing track that's nearly a mile in length. Worried about the learning curve? Don't be! Their friendly and knowledgeable instructors will guide you every step of the way. They'll teach advanced karting techniques, share insights, and help you fine-tune your skills to conquer the track and your competition. Here's the best part. Pro Kart Concepts offers exclusive discounts for sim racers like you. Mention this ad when booking and receive 15% off your introduction to kart racing. They know the dedication and passion you bring to the virtual races. They want to help you build on that with an unforgettable transition to real-world racing. Visit ProKartConcepts.com for more information. Final warm-up is well underway. We're going to take a step back. We'll be right back with your starting grid. You're watching the Pro Kart Concepts Road Challenge Series on Green Flag TV.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Green Flag TV. You've just got a couple of seconds left in this final warm-up session. Qualifying has been concluded. The grid is set. Here's how everything is going to be lining on up as we'll get set to light the candles and once again set Canada alight with racing action, this time in the Pro Kart Concepts Road Challenge Series. From the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, it is lining up a little something like this. You've got the likes of Miles Crab up on pole position. Justin Barrera looking to make a run at that points lead now in LMP3. Will be down in the number 2 spot. Otto Rosa and Daniel Hall are back in 3rd and 4th. Tyler Beeman and Bradley Beeman lock out row number 3. Nathaniel Lane's making his series debut late in the Road Challenge Series. Going to be back in the number 7 spot. Justin Hall looking to win himself a championship here tonight at GT4. Will be lining it up on the front row in the GT4 field, with Kyle Nadeau back in the number 2 spot. Michael Cabrera and Bradley Alvis are in 3rd and 4th. Moving on down through from there, you'll have John Boyd, Chris Wold, Joe Evers, Matt Green, Kevin Medina, Jerry Isaacs, Chris Wells, Ryan McRoberts, Shane Brown, Ken Leung, Karsten Pack, and Brad Slagle rounding out the field. So it is a fairly sizable grid that we've got for us here in this one, as we're going to be looking set to take this one to the grid as the field is rolling its way through the final series of corners. We're happy that you're joining us over here on this incredible Monday night for racing. Let's get this party started. We are underway in Canada. Good getaway so far from the front runners as Miles Crabb leads the run down in towards the first couple of corners. Meanwhile, the GT4 field siphoning their way across the start-finish line. Justin Hall, having pulled clear already down in the turn number 1, looking to send the rest of the field out behind. Joe Evers, the number 2, driving the points off and into the grass on the right-hand or left-hand side, able to get himself back sorted as we duck down and through that giant left-hander. And we've got a few of the LMP3s that look to have been having a few problems with their own as Miles Crab and Moore look to hightail this one away as we rocket down the main straightaway. Apologies for the brief interruption. We are back on our way, though. Still have not finished the first lap of racing action. We have, though, as of right now, Crab, Barrera, Hall, and Moore running it back in this field while everybody else looks set to try to siphon things out. We're having some difficulties on the timing charts. We're going to try to get those sorted as quick as we possibly can, but at the moment it is the likes of Crab and Moore that lead the way in LMP3. We're going to take a step back. We'll try to sort this out. We'll try to be back within the next 5 minutes. Apologies once again for these interruptions. We'll try to get back to you by the end of lap number 2 as Autorosa send wide and into the grass at the exit of turn number 4. And finally, we are back, and now we should have everything sorted as all the cars are on the grid. We're just waiting on the timing software to get itself fully up to pace here with where things are at the moment on the racetrack. But again, Crab has led the way in your LMP3 field. We've had Justin Hall lead the way in GT4s. You haven't missed anything on the racetrack. No major overtakes or battles for positions as of right now. We are working our way down towards the backstretch, this time by... This is for lap number 2 in your GT4 field. You see Ryan McRoberts off and into the grass, and Shane Brown looks to have had a spin as well deeper in the pack. We'll get a look at what happened to Brown here, as this is going to be working down the hill and in towards Moss Corner. And as Brown just taken a bit too wide, he hasn't spun the Porsche around though, so good job on getting that car all sorted. Been overall one of the tamest restarts we've had so far all season long. As Alvis, Cabrera, Wold, and Boyd remain tucked line astern of the battle for 3rd, back through 6th. Working back for lap number 3. Race leader in GT4, Justin Hall's off the road, allows Kyle Nadeau to sweep through. Not like this has any impact on the championship as a whole, but Justin Hall will fall to the number 2 spot now right in front of Bradley Alvis. Battle is on, by the way, for 3rd in LMP3 as Tyler Beeman sweeps around Daniel Hall. He'll pick up the number 3 spot as we work our way steadily around the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, now hunting back to the front stretch. Only 7 cars in your LMP3 field, and they are putting on a good show in of their own right way up the road. As Tyler Beeman and Moore all try to get themselves sorted up in this field. Bradley Beeman now is the rear end of the Beeman sandwich that Hall finds himself in the middle of. At the moment, this is the only on-track battle within the LMP3 field that is within a second of each other. Again, further back down in the pack, you're looking at the likes of Jerry Isaacs, Ken Leung, Joe Evers, and more, all trying to hunt their way back around to the front stretch here, as they will work their way out of White's corner, back down the pit straight here. It's a good effort so far that these drivers are putting on, but so far the GT4 field seems to just be splitting apart with not a lot going on as it stands. Further down in the pack, we've had a pass for fourth. Bradley Beeman has broken around Daniel Hall, making it a Beeman 3 and 4 on the racetrack, and this happened headed down the back straightaway, down the Andretti straight, I should say, into the Esses, and very easy sweep through. That's one thing we didn't get to talk about a lot in the pre-race is that corner leading onto the backstretch. It's really not the type of corner you would expect to see at the head of the race here. You really do have to be very cautious when working. We're kind of working around that segment because it's not like the usual hairpins you can just dive into. You're going to have to really be patient and try to put yourself on the move and get those passes complete by the time you get to what little braking zone there is. Justin Hall trying to take the lead back from hometown hero Kyle Nadeau. Will he make that look to the right? He's thinking about it. Nadeau defends, and it'll be Kyle Nadeau to hang on for the LMP3 lead. We have had a pass for the LMP3 lead. That was the GT4 lead battle, excuse me, as this is Miles Crabb going off the track. Justin Barrera sweeps right through, says thank you very much. Barrera trying to run this championship down right to the last race on the season at Daytona 1 week from now. As, whoa, boy, now Nadeau clipping the grass on the right-hand side. Lets Justin Hall and Bradley Alvis through. Now we've got ourselves a shut up and drive it 1-2 with the pair of Mercedes up in the front of this field. Top three at LMP3 are all tucked under a blanket as well. Barrera fires around the likes of Brad Slagle, Miles Crabb, and Tyler Beeman going to siphon through as well. Barrera trying to keep this his LMP3 out in front as he's trying to go for the point slate tonight, with Scott Kimbrough being a no-show. Scott Kimbrough realistically just had to really turn up for the next two races. Would have had the title secure, but with him not appearing tonight, not sure if that will remain the case. Remember, drop weeks are in play. Not sure if this is before or after drop weeks are in effect. So we'll be able to get all the confirmation on that one before too long. But you can see Barrera firing around the inside of GT4 traffic as it is a hornet's nest now. Got the battle for the lead, working past what's right now with the likes of Kevin Medina. So work our way back to the pit straight. Already almost 10 minutes down in this 1 hour affair, and oh, it's getting hairy now as we're going to make an overtake for the lead. Barrera trying to hang on against Tyler Beeman. Beeman with no room, though. I think they did make contact, nose to tail that last time through. Now fighting around that number 40 Aston Martin of John Boyd. Oh, and now Beeman onto the curb, in and onto the grass, just able to hang on. Breaks clear of Crabb, but Barrera will hang on. And now Miles Crabb attacking back as they approach the PKC Mercedes. Miles down the inside and will retake the number 2 spot. Right, well, that's not what you're hoping to see in a fierce battle of this one when you're just a GT4 car trying to mind your own business. These drivers, as always, showing absolutely no fear as they'll take to the inside of second and third in the GT4 category. Looks like Beeman being hung out to dry. They'll be able to close back up the ones they overtake Justin Hall. Oh, and around goes Tyler Beeman, slams the wall. And now parked in the middle of the circuit. That looked like a wheel failure. The wheels were turned hard to the right. He'll back it into the fence and knock the rear wing off. That will effectively end Tyler Beeman's chance at going for a race win as he'll find himself down in pit road. Kevin Medina having a small off as that got hectic in a hurry. We'll ride on board with Tyler Beeman, and this will tell the story. Sure was. Wheel failure. The back end kicked out, and that wheel died on him, and that's why the wheels turned hard to the right. Was able to get it back sorted. As Shane Brown takes an excursion way off the circuit down at turn 2. Working back to the Andretti straight and into the S is the battle for the lead in your LMP3 category. Trying to maybe set up a move for Whites. It's a critical battle for Barrera. He needs all the points he can get. I don't think a win would be enough for him to take the points lead, but it's enough for him to reel the gap in. And the only reason why I say I think is because of those drop weeks that always come into play. We're never quite sure how those are going to sort themselves out. Carson Path going a long way off the track as he was all by himself out of the Continental Bridge. And whoa! Huge tanking hit into the barrier. That was down towards Moss. So that's why we saw Carson Path taking so long to get back established on the racing circuit. So Barrera and Crab continue to dice it out. We'll get back to this battle if it picks up any more, but for now, GT4 is looking spicy as well. We're watching Chris Wold tucked right behind Mako Cabrera and trying to keep it in front of John Boy, Matt Green, Kevin Medina, and Ken Leung. So a good group of GT4 machinery all kind of bunched up in line, but this is, I talked about it before at the start of the season about how difficult it is to get drafting runs. This track is all about momentum, so it's not going to be a racing circuit where the driver will be able to help these guys out at all. They're going to have to rely on finding better lines to get around their opponents than others, and right now, John Boyd losing time to the likes of Matt Green down the road. Although not enough to, I think, really have Green be considered a threat just yet. He is sitting in the wings, and it's pounds if Boyd makes a mistake, but as long as John Boyd keeps that Aston Martin pointed in the right direction, I don't see a change of position anytime soon in this battle for the number 6 spot. Back behind, Shane Brown attacking Ryan McRoberts down into the S's as the lone BMW in this field tracking wide and will slam the door shut on Brown. As meanwhile, in the middle section of the racetrack, out through Quebec, Mako Cabrera, again, just able to keep Chris Wold at bay. Battle's picked up in the LMP3 lead, and now Krabby unsettled on the curves as they work their way towards White. And Cabrera has had an off somewhere as he is tumbling down the field, potentially just had a really wide line coming around through Moss. It's now more LMP3 traffic. That's Nathaniel Ames, eager to get through. Ames, the rookie driver at the moment, just looking to have a clean race tonight. Running 6th in the LMP3 field at the moment. Just in front of him, Chris Wold with the attack around the outside of John Boyd. As they're fighting now for 4th in GT4, as Wold will break clear in his Mercedes. That LMP3 car working its way through at the worst possible point. That's now checked up. A good chunk of drivers in this GT4 field as you see Joe Evers. Sorry, John Boyd escape off the racetrack again. And a bit wide for Matt Green. Allows Cabrera to close, not enough to attack though. Let's work our way through Quebec. Fights on again for the lead. Miles Krabby around the outside of turn 1 and send the number 31 car through into the race lead. Here's the pass for the lead one more time as Miles Crabb used Ryan McRoberts as a pick, breaking clear into the lead through turn 1. And almost a bit of contact there as well. And while that was going on, Bradley Alvis having this big moment at Moss off the track. And almost losing positions as well. It was so slow that he thought he spun all the way around. All of the fighting right now in GT4 appears to be throughout the mid-pack, as that battle for the lead in LMP3 not going away anytime soon. We'll cut back to that from time to time as the battle ebbs and flows, but you've still got this large train between John Boyd, Matt Green, and Moore that is looking to make some headway here as we thunder down the road and in towards up towards Quebec here, as I'm still getting my corner names situated here in this deal. As oh boy, Aston Martin kicking the back end out there as they work their way out of Quebec and now back down the hill towards Moss. Boyd, Green. Mako Cabrera. Huge crash down at Moss Corner as he has gone way off the circuit, and that's going to be effectively game over for Cabrera because of that. Take a look. Too much curve. Oh, blew the back end. That is a hefty shunt right into the concrete wall. Green's attacking Boyd meanwhile. Not successfully though. Field's still doing a good job though. I mean, they have been putting on a fairly decent showing as it stands here as they'll work their way out of whites and back to the pit straight. Matt Green still trying to attack John Boyd. Ken Leung takes an off-track excursion way in the background, but nothing that would impact the overall running of this race. Cabrera will find his way into pit road, unsurprisingly so. Effectively game over for the 225 Porsche Cayman 718. Oh boy, and Miles Crabbe being forced off the track by Jerry Isaacs. As Isaacs having a bit of a close shave with the battle for the lead, and that nearly saw an end to Crabbe's race, and that would have been what Barrera would have wanted to see, as Barrera still trying to go for the points lead, remember, or trying to at least reel the gap into it. As now Matt Green just in front starts to attack John Boyd. This is where it's going to get interesting. 3 wide down the main straightaway. Barrera trying to force the hole, and he'll do so. That's going to break up the battle for the lead just for now, it looks like. Well, Matt Green finally completes the pass on John Boyd for 5th place in your GT4 category. Just in time as well, because here comes Bradley Beeman trying to siphon his way through, and he'll really now split up that battle for the number 5 spot. Crabbe and Barrera showing no signs of slowing in their role for the race lead at the moment. You can tell there's a lot of pressure weighing on Miles Crabbe and Justin Barrera right now, and I feel like it's not making them ease off any less. It's making them, if anything, push all that much harder. As trouble for Bradley Beeman deeper in the pack. This is working down into Moss. One of the bed just goes off wide. So, actually, no, quit the curb, and he did spin it fully around. So there's the battle for the lead in the overall lead, working down the pit straight and in towards turn number 1. Crabbe still pulling clear. Meanwhile, Chris Wold has lost out to Matt Green as well in the fight for 4th in your GT4 field. Bradley Beeman also takes it to pit road, and he took a tow back to the pits, so that is game over then for both the Beeman brothers. Again, an early night for the two of them. We're down to 5 runners in your LMP3 field, down to 15. Mako Cabrera having his retirement a few laps ago in your GT4 field. Here we go. Barrera attacking Crab for the lead down the Andretti straight and in towards the Estes. Gonna try to go for the over-under through whites, but that's always a brave move to try to pull off down such a short straight. Barrera looks like he's gonna go for it. Couldn't get there in time and ended up backing out. You can tell he wasn't sure, and that bit of indecision is what cost him in that overall battle. Looking back down to Green, Wold, and Boyd all tucked up line astern and a big conga line as we work back through the S's. "20 minutes down, 40 minutes to go." As time continues to tick by in this penultimate race, the Pro Kart Concepts Road Challenge Series. John Boyd finds an opening on Chris Wold. Can he attack through Quebec? Don't believe he'll be able to, and he will not. So Wold remains packed in, line astern. It's not going to stop Joe Evers though from attacking. You see Boyd, flashing those headlights, letting him know I don't appreciate how this battle's panning out. It's also good intimidation tactic as well to try to really apply the pressure to some of your opponents to try to force them to make mistakes. Speaking of Joe Evers, he's just got by Jerry Isaacs. That was for 8th. You saw way at the tail end of the shot in the GT4 field. Ken Leung trying to bump Isaacs down 2. Can't get to the back bumper though to make it so. Cut back to Crab and Barrera. As Barrera looks to the right. Once again, a drag race down the Mario Andretti straightaway. On board with Crab as he takes that run down and into the S's, loses out. Battle of the Late Breakers goes the way of Justin Barrera, putting himself back on point. Now again, big ticket question, how eager is Barrera going to be to try to fight this out? Oh, big hit for Ken Leung. Tanks the wall on the entry to Moss. Take a look back as the Rainbow Machine takes too much curb, spins it out, and boy, when that back end starts to come around, there is just no saving it whatsoever. Yeah, nothing at all that Leon could have done there to avoid that wall once the tail end started to come around on him. Running along with Matt Green at the moment as he sits 0.8 of a second clear of Chris Wold. Wold in a big battle, and no! Hard into the wall goes John Boyd. Speaking of big battles, well, we just had a big battle come to a head as John Boyd is punted off at turn 1. And he will be forced to take the toe. Well, that got ugly, to put it quite mildly there, as that was a hefty whack. As John Boyd, with that absolutely monstrous impact, we'll try to get a better look at this one here. As this again, working down into turn 1. Watch as the PKC Mercedes goes out wide. The second he touched that curb, it was over. And there was nothing that John Boyd could do. Never saw it coming. Justin Barrera still trying to maintain. Oh, and look out as Nathaniel Ames will spin it out. Boy, it's all kicking off now as what happened to Ames here? Trying to get that 28 LMP3 spun back around. It looks like he might have tagged the wall. On board, he's letting by Beeman. Just comes around on him. Didn't have any help or anything like that. Just back end kicks out all by its lonesome. It's so easy for these prototypes to lose the control like that. It's never something you should take lightly. And now Brad Slagle off at turn 1. Boy, everybody's having problems all of a sudden as Slagle just taking too much grass. And, oh, he's found the tire barriers too. We'll finally get to cut back just as Miles Crabb tries to attack Barrera for the lead. Couldn't get to the back bumper. So Barrera stays out in front, but starting to kick off in these battles as we'll see Miles Crabb take it to pit road. So Crabb making a slightly early entry here, trying to undercut Barrera and go for the race lead. Maybe saw a bit of lap traffic that was up ahead that he didn't want to get stuck in, so he's taking the gamble that he won't be stuck in traffic when he leaves pit road. Take a look back to Bradley Alvis and Justin Hall. They're both scrapping it up amongst themselves. And, well, now Daniel Hall is off and into the grass. So yet again, another LMP3 car running into troubles. And again, too much of the inside. Spins the Ligier off. And that one, at least, lucky to just barely keep it out of the barriers. In fact, let's get a look at that one again from the back. This is wild here. Oh, it couldn't have been more than inches. Caution flag is out just as Justin Barrera hits pit road. That could be a saver. You have Barrera and Crabb up on your track map down on the bottom right. I think this may affect who comes out in front of this battle for the lead. I think Crabb may still be pushing. Oh, he can't push, though. He's got a GT4 in front of him, and that's it. So Justin Barrera, it looks like, will take up the overall race lead. He'll come out way in front of Miles Crabb because of that. Very, very lucky yellow flag. So we're going to need to take a moment to let all of this get figured out, because there's going to be some confusion in the running order here, obviously, with this caution coming out at a very inopportune time. So we're going to step back, and we'll be back with the rest of your race here in just a few moments. You are watching the Pro Kart Concepts Road Challenge Series on Green Flag TV. Working back down the Mario Andretti straightaway as we'll get set to go back racing this time by. Results have been all figured out. We've got everybody where they should be, so we'll be looking to get back to it with just under 26 minutes to go. Coming to the close of our first safety car period here tonight at the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Justin Barrera will continue to lead. Miles Crabb has picked up second in your LMP3 field. Justin Hall and Bradley Alvis, along with Kyle Nadeau, continue to sit 1, 2, and 3 just behind in your GT4 field. So the pace truck will be pulling in this time by. We get set to get right back to racing action in the Great North. 25 minutes just over that remain as the green flag will drop once again, and we are back underway. Alvis immediately making a jump to the inside of Hall. Nadeau follows suit. Hall trying to hang it around the outside of turn 1. He still has the nose in there. Kyle Nadeau couldn't clear, and Justin Hall retakes second spot, cuts across the nose of Nadeau. The LMP3s to shoot off into the distance, save for Nathaniel Ames, and now Miles Crabb attacking Barrera for the race lead in your LMP3 category as well. And remaining side by side through Moss Corner, and Barrera finally able to pull clear with that lead. Under the safety car here, we got an update on how the points situation is looking in regards to Barrera and Kimbrough. Now, the way it is looking, because Kimbrough's already taken a drop week, this title will not be decided here tonight. However, if he turns up and runs just a singular lap at Daytona 1 week from now, Scott Kimbrough will be the LMP3 champion. So right now, Barrera's just got to hope that Kimbrough doesn't make the start. Ken Leon taking a bit of an off-track excursion while everybody else slicing and dicing. Contact between Chris Wold and Chris Wells as they'll have a coming together. Everybody around here trying to get around Ryan McRoberts. Oh, and into the wall goes Chris Wold. Tanks that Mercedes right into the fence. And it just took too much cover of the exit, and that's a heavy shot and knocked the right front toe out, so that will be race over then for Wold. As he'll go off at turn 1 and might, if I find the barriers again. He has found the barriers again. That is it. Battle for the lead, not going anywhere either as Miles Crabb continues to pressure Justin Barrera as he has from the drop of this green flag. Still not looking to go anywhere anytime soon as Barrera trying to fend off with everything he's got. Miles Crabb poking to the left, couldn't find a hole. Look at how close, though, he gets to the back bumper. There is nothing, absolutely nothing between these drivers. Right on board with Crabb. How he is not running into the back of him at every braking zone is beyond me. We'll continue to ride as we run down the Mario Andretti straight. See how Barrera is able to get a good jump out as Bradley Beeman takes another toe. Closing in on, I believe that to be Shane Brown just up the road. Not able to close up all that much with the draft as battle's also on for second as Justin Hall having to fend off an attack from Kyle Nadeau on the exit of Quebec. Oh, Jerry Isaacs having a bit of a moment down at Moss himself. We'll see if Bradley Beeman had a crash that has sent him to pit road. This is entering Moss in too deep. Whoa, too wide, and he has found the barriers, and he just decided to call it quits from there. Jerry Isaacs now trying to defend against Chris Wells. Wells around the outside of the assist, and Wells is through on the Pro Kart Concepts Porsche 718 Cayman Club Sport. Third contender has entered the party, Otto Rosa, who we saw having problems in the early 15 minutes of this race, has now been able to close up with this safety car and is now really pressuring both Crab and Barrera for the leading spots. There goes Crab around the outside, and nothing there that Barrera could do to stop him. Take a look on board with Miles Crab. That is a gutsy play to go that far around the outside at the fastest corner on the circuit. If ever you were to do it, though, that's how. He's already built up almost a 1.2 second lead. And as I say that, off goes Otto Rosa, and no, he's actually had a bit of a problem here. There's been a few things that have happened. Watch this again as Otto Rosa actually made the move on Barrera for the number 2 spot in a turn 1. And then looking like Ken Leung and Otto Rosa had it coming together. So take a look at this one here. Watch there behind is Otto Rosa. Ken Leung just minding his own business, taking his own line. Whoa, boy. And a bit of contact there from Rosa sent the both of them off, and Leung found the barriers. Under 20 minutes. And now Kevin Medina will fight past Chris Wells, or at least try to. Wells takes the inside back for turn 2. Dives down to the inside of Clayton. Then back up for Quebec. At the head of this field, Bradley Alvis and Justin Hall remain tucked line astern in the battle for first and second. Thought we may have seen Hall make the move on Alvis there, but it looks like they're both playing teammates for each other at the moment. That's why we saw Hall not opt to make that look coming down the Mario Andretti straight in towards the S's that last time through. They might be trying to build up a gap to Kyle Nagy behind, so they don't have to worry so much about the third Mercedes in the field here, trying to make a run at this race lead and go for the win. And remember, Hall's got an absolutely monstrous gap right now in the GT4 points lead back to Joe Evers because Bradley Alvis had to miss a couple races. So right now, Hall absolutely is in position for a win, for a win of the championship, whether or not he wins it or finishes runner-up. Hell, I think he could finish way back at like 4th or 5th and still take it quite handily entering the final race. Across the path, and Ken Leung looking to do battle into the first couple of corners as, trouble for Joe Evers. Slow at Moss. On the exit of Quebec, watching down the hill. As, clips the gravel, spins it around, and did the smart move of throttling it up to get off the racing circuit. Hall will work around the outside of Otto Rosa. That was her third in your LMP3 category, as that will effectively break up one of the last battles that we can expect to see all race long. And it's like it so often does. The LMP3s breaking apart from each other in the closing stages of this race. GT4s, though, going nowhere. Still tracking this battle for the lead here between Hall and Alvis, the Shotgun driving teammates. Kyle Nadeau sitting in a pretty comfortable third, just behind. We'll continue to march around, and I think with some of that LB3 traffic getting through, you can tell that's allowed Nadeau to run this gap back in. The top three in GT4 all separated by about 3/4 of a second. Excuse me, starting to get the hiccups over here a bit back here in the office as Hall and Alvis continue to run nose to tail, and Justin Hall right now is in prime position. He doesn't need to push it at all. He knows he doesn't need to push it. He just needs to keep it steady where he's at and keep those times clicking in. Karsten Path having an off as, whoa. Way in hot at Moss, slams the barriers and will retire back to pit road. Right. So with all that, over with, as we see another driver eliminated down at that dreaded Moss double hairpin. We'll keep with this Alvis, Hall, and Nadeau battle with just 15 minutes on the clock. Still not the only battle we got going on at the moment in this field. You've also got Jerry Isaacs, Chris Wells, and Kevin Medina. They're separated by about half a second apiece as we work back into turn one on the exit of that pit straight. And like the battle for the lead that started to pick up, this is also a fight that will go absolutely nowhere as Justin Hall tried to attack that time by into Quebec, but lost out to Kyle Nadeau instead. Nadeau slips back. Just in time, as I believe that to be Ottarosa working his way past the main grouping in this battle and nearly dooring your GT4 leader. And that, in fact, stacks everybody up, and that could open up the door for Kyle Nadeau to have the leverage he needs to go for a pass here. Starting to push Justin Hall. Hall making the peek to the inside. Can he go over the inside on Bradley Alvis? Alvis hanging it high and wide, and he'll secure the lead again as Hall could not get deep enough on the brakes. Trouble for Ryan McRoberts as he goes off the track at Moss. Slips it wide, and it's not the only one. Brad Slagle having this moment as he, I think, got a bit startled by Miles Crabb working his way through and took a huge slide off at Clayton. At Clayton Bend is it's unusual in iRacing because typically the way it used to work, at least, you can obviously kind of save it a bit easier now that there's grass, but the way it used to work, you touched two wheels in the grass and that was it. You were going into the tire barrier. It did not matter if you were in the slowest club car, the MX-5 or the Solstice on the surface, you were done if you touched that grass. You were going off, you were hitting that wall. The reason why that's so interesting is because that has been paved for years in the real world, that section of the racetrack there. In fact, it got paved not long after this track was scanned and put into iRacing. So it is quite heavily outdated, which I think is just interesting why it has, or to note that it is a very outdated version of the scan as Michael Cabrera off at turn one. It looks like he may have found the barriers as well. He's not the only one that went off. This is Daniel Ames first. This is at Quebec as he's going to lose the back end again coming around through turn three. Yes, he is. Steps it out, spins it round, and oh, he has found the wall in a pretty hefty fashion. And then just seconds later, Cabrera having this, major slide at turn one. Locks it down, and he did keep it out of the wall. Good for him. Sand Trap doing its work there to slow that car down. Still tracking the most important battle of the racetrack at the moment, Bradley Alvis and Justin Hall, as Hall again trying to attack into Quebec. But just like every time before, has not been able to have enough momentum to carry it around the outside. Gotta always be cautious chasing drivers that close into the double hairpins, though, that make up Moss. Looks like Hall may have the momentum this time down the Mario Andretti straight. In the LMP3 category, Miles Crabb continues to lead the way. Justin Barrera has not been able to run him down, and the battle for the LMP3 lead has since slipped back quite significantly, as Nathaniel Ames will take his machine down to pit road, and in fact maybe retiring the Ligier as well. So Ames is into the pits. Barrera second, as I was mentioning before. Daniel Hall runs third. Otto Rosa will be the last LMP3 on the racetrack, running in a pretty comfortable fourth right now in no man's land. Jay Isaac and Chris Wells have started to reel in a bit more of a fight. That's for sixth in GT4, and Kevin Medina is just about a second behind. It's really a battle of trios here tonight. I mean, almost every battle we've had on the racetrack so far is incorporated three drivers, and that seems to be a trend that is only picking up as we reached the last 10 minutes or so of this race. Carrera goes off again down at turn 2. 225, again having another troublesome off-track excursion as we cut back to the fight for 7th, 8th, and 9th. Or sorry, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Kevin Medina has been doing a good job in just keeping up to the back of Chris Wells, but I'm not confident he has the ability to go for the move as Slagle, Brad Slagle, that is at Moss again, and may have had some help this time. Oh, never mind. No, he didn't. Just hopped the curb. And around he goes. That's a mistake you're never going to make twice. Says, look at how much air that rear end got as he lifted it off the ground. Whoops. Daniel Hall and Otto Rosa look to be having a battle picking on up. This is for third in the LMP3 field. So final podium position still up for grabs for Otto Rosa here, and he's looking to try to make that lunge to the inside. He's going to have to make that move, though, down the Andretti straight, as there's just no way for a prototype to realistically make a pass without the help of lap traffic in that middle portion of the racetrack. We've seen that time and time again today. Let the battle commence. Final podium spot, 7 minutes left on the clock, about 5 minutes to go, or about 5 laps to go. So Rosa's got no time to hang around waiting. On board with Otto Rosa as he's trying to run down Daniel Hall. It's a tall order, though, and they're now starting to catch a huge chunk of lap traffic. Battle's also on. Justin Hall attacking Alvis again around the outside of the S's, and this time hangs it high and wide, trying to make it happen. He'll have the inside for the final left-hander, and Alvis just able to pull back clear. Hall's not done yet, though. He's got a big run. Alvis goes offensive down the main straight towards turn 1. And it's neck and neck down to turn 2 at Clayton. They both keep it on the circuit for the time being, and the 177 now pulls clear, but not yet. We're still side by side. Almost an entire lap now as Bradley Alvis continues to hang on against Justin Hall. And finally, Hall clears for the GT4 race lead. Boy, that was a good fight. 5 minutes ago, that's how you put on a good battle in GT4s right there. Neck and neck for about 2/3 of a lap. They went side by side right about here down the Andretti straightaway, and they did not get single file until they were into Moss. And now Kyle Nadeau swinging off. Drops back towards the 225 of Michael Cabrera, who's just looking to pick up some extra spots as drivers have found themselves eliminated, but I don't think Cabrera will be able to get any of them. And just behind them, the battle for third. The LMP3 category is still very much alive. And now with lap traffic in the way, it's anyone's game. Luckily, they catch traffic at the Andretti straight, so that makes it very easy for lap traffic to be dealt with. And you just see the speeds that they rip through the S's with, and even then, still tempting fate with those race curves. Auto Rosa will close the gap even further. 3 minutes now on the docket to try to run down Daniel Hall. Such a tall order, though, and so little time to get it done. This may very well be game over. Battle for third still separated by about half a second as we work down the backstretch. Trying to reel this gap in. You can see the likes of Karsten Path just in front of them checking up this battle, and oh boy, Rosa had to scramble, and that will really break this up. Bradley Alvis, meanwhile, he'll try to hang around the long way of the S's. Has the advantage for the left, but advantage back to Justin Hall for whites, and Justin Hall is through. Or is he, as Alvis cut him back? Battle is on again for the GT4 win as they got about 2 laps left to settle this. Hall and Alvis will single it out. Ryan McRoberts having issues. Oh, hard hit into the wall. That was at turn 1. Miles Crabbe, I believe, may have just started the final lap of this race, which would indeed put this 2 to go for Hall and Alvis. If this is indeed the last lap, then that third place LMP3 runner, or the fifth place LMP runner for the Nathaniel Ames, would have just been the last car they're going to have to deal with, making this an all-out brawl for the GT4 win. So Justin Hall will work out of the final corner here to take the line. Meanwhile, Miles Crabbe crossing it this time by, and just at the buzzer, I think we got an extra lap in. So we will have one more. Crabbe not out of the woods yet. Neither is Hall and Alvis, as now we're officially 2 to go. Boy, that is as close as it has ever been to try to get a battle sorted, as here comes Miles Crabbe. And he, in fact, could even overtake the battle for the GT4 lead before the end of this race. And all of a sudden, this is not the only battle either, as you've also got the one for third picking up in your LMP3 field. Now, Crabbe's got a choice. Does he let them fight it out and risk an 8-second gap? He's going to go for the overtake. Miles Crabbe to the lead. Justin Hall pokes out, or Alvis pokes out to try to get a run back going with the toe of Miles Crabbe. Crabbe will come home meanwhile. And with no competition behind, it will be the driver, the number 31 LMP3, to take the win overall in race number 9 of the Pro Kart Concepts Road Challenge Series. Meanwhile, out of the final corner, a drag to the line, and Hall takes the win from Alvis in the final corner, just barely able to outdrag him. Now you got the battle for third yet to be decided in your LMP3 field, as Daniel Hall and Alvarosa still have yet to settle this one, as they're working their way out of the Andretti Straight and into the S's. It would be a huge bonsai look down into Weiss that would definitely take the both of them out. Gonna send it in anyway, not gonna be enough. Daniel Hall takes third in race number 9. Just now waiting on the last of the drivers to come across the start-finish stretch after a pretty wild night of racing action that we have seen. And it's it's always a good race when you get as much action and drama as we've had here tonight. And for Miles Crabbe, it's obviously a great win for him. For Justin Hall, though, he will be the champion in GT4 in the Pro Kart Concepts Road Challenge Series. A great drive for the 177 that sees him now crowned king with one race left to go. Let's take a rundown of your official post-race results after a wild night of racing action. We'll kick things off, of course, with the LMP3 field, as Miles Crabbe took the win ahead of Justin Barrera. Daniel Hall was back in third. Otto Rosa was fourth. Nathaniel Ames rounds it out in fifth, 2 laps down, ahead of Bradley and Tyler Beeman. Back in a more stacked GT4 field, Justin Hall will take the win and the championship over Bradley Alvis in second. Kyle Nadeau in third. Matt Green was fourth. Joe Evers will have to settle for second of the championship. He finishes down at fifth. Jerry Isaacs was sixth with Kevin Medina in seventh. Chris Wells was eighth. Shane Brown ninth. Ryan McRoberts in 10th. He'll be the first car 1 lap down as well. Carson Path, Michael Cabrera, Ken Leung, Brad Slago, Chris Wold, and John Boyd round out the field from there, as we'll get the chance now to speak to everybody in the race in action here after this one. And it was, again, a very wild race for so many drivers, and we'll of course kick things off with the race winner at the end of the night in your LMP3 field. Miles Crabbe will join us up here in the broadcast booth. And, well, it's another race win for you, Miles. And, again, this one has to feel well. But, boy, it did not come easy. Kind of walk us through what it was like having to battle it out there with Justin Barrera throughout really the first 45 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think on lap 3, I got a good start, which was always, goal number 1. Pulled out almost 2 seconds on them through the first run through the GT4s, and ran out of talent. Thought I could do turn 2 flat and could not do it flat 4 laps into the run. So could do it in practice, couldn't do it here. Anyway, drove it off. He got ahead of me. Had a really good battle with him and Tyler before Tyler spun. And then I kept putting my nose in kind of dumb places, and he'd let me go. And then he'd pass me. He'd get a better run. He was a lot better through Moss than I was, and he'd get a run on the back straight and pass me. And he nailed the caution. I thought it was going to come out the lap that I pitted, and he was able to get back around, just barely get in the pit lane before the caution came out. So we cycled back to the front, and then it dropped, I don't know how many degrees after the caution, but we went from running 111.7s trying really hard to all of a sudden the track could do 10s, and I was able to kind of drop the hammer and go, and he couldn't quite figure it out. And I was actually concerned we were going to have to take tires, because I'm going to look now after the race. Yeah, I'm down to 29% on my left front. So if we didn't have the caution, that would have been iffy.
Well, it helps when there's only 2 right turns on the entirety of the circuit. Or when there's only 2 left turns, I should say, on the entirety of the circuit. But obviously, it was a primarily right-turning circuit this time around, but we're headed to a racetrack that's almost all left turns. But I think with a lot of the banking that we see at the World Center of Racing, tires aren't going to be so much of a worry when we get around to there. It's Daytona International Speedway back down in Florida. What can we expect to see out of that 31 car for the season finale?
Daytona's home. I've driven so many laps. I've done so many different cars. I hate to say I'm going to be pissed if I don't win, but if I don't win, I'm going to be pissed. And that's nothing against Justin or if Scott shows back up or the talent of the rest of the field. It's just I've done so many laps around Daytona that if I don't run it perfect every lap, I will be pissed at myself. So we'll see. That usually means I'll spin in turn 1. But Daytona Infield Road Course is without a doubt my favorite track. Maybe not my favorite. Watkins Glen is my favorite, but it's my best racetrack bar none.
Well, we wish you the best of luck then when we go racing next week back at the Daytona International Speedway. Thanks for joining us, and congratulations on the race win. We'll see you one more time in Florida.
Yep, thank you. And hi, Mom, hi, Dad, before you kick me out of the interview booth.
As Miles Crabb joined us up here in the broadcast booth as we'll move on down to Justin Hall, the driver that not only takes the win here today in the GT4 category, but he will also take the title in GT4. Justin, it must feel good to know that entering the final race, you're able to just breathe a sigh of relief and take it easy.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even realize it came down to that race, or this race, I should say. So, yeah, it'll be some more fun out there. Maybe I'll try and start from the back and send it up or something fun.
We look, obviously, towards the season as a whole. Kind of walk us through this one, because it was looking to be one titanic battle between yourself and Bradley Alvis. And as Alvis missed races and you kept showing up, you just started to run away with that points lead in the second half of the season.
Yeah, I know. I know. Last week Brad was out on vacation, and I was giving him some crap for that. I know that put him behind in the points, but at the end of the day, this is all for fun. Like I said, it's a lot of times just for bragging rights, and it's all for the races like tonight. Honestly, between me and Brad, and I got a little bit worried when I got on grid and saw Kyle had maple leaves on his livery. I was like, oh shit, that's a real Canadian. And he had a ton of pace here. We had a great battle. It was a great fun night.
Looking forward to Daytona. It's the last race on the season, and a track that finally I think has straights long enough for the draft on the GT4s might actually mean something or other, apart from maybe a little bit tonight if you were close enough. What can we expect to see out of that 177 entering the World Center of Racing?
I'm just hoping to see some nice, tight, big train racing at Daytona and just finish off the season in style.
Well, fair enough. We'll let you get back down to celebrating. Congratulations on the championship once again at the end of the night.
Yeah, thanks, Nolan.
Justin Hall joining us up here in the broadcast booth. Apologies for the mild language that you may have heard in that interview, but looking forward, it is Daytona coming up next for one final ride over here in the Pro Kart Concepts Road Challenge Series. And if you like some oval racing, you may have heard Daytona. Well, we're not at Daytona later tonight, but it does start with a D. We return to the home of Miles the Monster in Delaware when the High Tide Racing League MF Racing Designs Cup Series returns to the Dover Motor Speedway. And we'll be, myself and Austin Estrom will be bringing you all of that coverage in about 20 minutes from now. So we'll see you all there. For now, though, congratulations once again to Justin Hall for locking out the GT4 Championship one race early. We will see you all next time when we go racing at Daytona.